This is NSR. Are you over in the US at the moment?
Yeah, I am. I'm in Nashville, so I'm based in Nashville these days after working on the Nashville TV show for a long time. So yeah, that's where I am.
So of course, we know you as playing Gunnar Scott from Nashville, of course the hugely popular Humans as well, and more recently Edward in The Princess Switch. You've also just released your new single, Under the Tree. Would you be able to tell us over here at Newcastle what inspired Under the Tree?
Yeah, it was great to work on, the Princess Switch series and, had a lot of fun making those films. The first one was in 2018, so, had a really great reception. I think we had over 70 million viewers back then, so it kind of blew us all away. But, I've always enjoyed bringing music into anything I do. So, they asked me back then if I'd be interested in writing some music for the first film, and I did, and I wrote a tune, and they put it in the film. It's called Bring the Snow, and so when we came to shoot the sequel, similar thing. They asked if I'd be interested in writing a piece of music, and it's always a fun challenge to write for a film. And so put together a new song, and for this recent film, it came out a few weeks ago. It's called Under the Tree. It's your classic bit of Christmas rolled up into a bit of a rock and roll song. So recorded it here in Nashville with this great producer Soren Hansen, who's in a band called New Politics, who are a great kind of indie rock and roll band. And we just had a lot of fun putting it together, and I was so pleased they gave it a great feature in the film. It closes out the whole finale of the movie, and it's been awesome seeing a nice response to the song, and everybody spinning it for the last few weeks. So good times.
Yeah, I'm a big fan myself. So of course, I presume you've been filming The Princess Switch Switched Again over 2020. What was it like filming in the middle of a global pandemic?
Well, actually, we finished it just before everything happened. So we shot it last December in Edinburgh, and that spilled over into, I guess, the first couple of weeks of January this year. So, kind of just as we were wrapping up filming, news started spreading of what was to come, and so I did actually get back to the States just in time, just as everything started happening. So,
good timing.
So I have just started filming a new TV show in the States here in Los Angeles. So, that is very much COVID filming for sure. But they're taking all the fantastic precautions and testing everybody 3 times a week, and masks and face shields, and it's definitely kind of weird, being on a set, with hundreds of extras and everybody masked, and then of course you got to at some point before you start rolling take everything off, and I think we've all got quite used to being a bit agoraphobic, and being around crowds feels very strange these days, but they're taking good precautions. So I think hopefully we won't have to put up with everything for too long. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed, yeah. I mean, I have to say, I'm not too jealous of the free COVID tests a week. I had one the other day and it wasn't enjoyable.
No, that's for sure, yeah. It's, they vary. They're either, you either don't feel it at all, or it feels like your head's just been probed with some sort of dagger, I think. They definitely vary. Thankfully, the ones we're doing 3 times a week are pretty painless, so that's good.
Yeah, got to do what you got to do. And I was wondering as well, if you were in the position of Stacey or Margaret in the film, if you could have a doppelganger cover you for a day, what do you think is the first thing you would go off and do?
I could have a doppelganger. Well, to be honest, a good one right now would be send the doppelganger to work in LA so that I could actually get back to England and see some family, because it's been obviously a year since I was in England, and I miss everybody. I'm from Penzance down in Cornwall, so to have a doppelganger to fulfill some work commitments, so I could go and get some fresh Cornish air and have a Cornish pasty.
See your passports.
Would be absolutely lovely.
Oh, I love Cornwall. My family's from Cornwall as well, actually. They're quite lucky. I'm not sure how how up to date you are with all the systems in England at the moment, but Cornwall's in tier 1, so they're having a lovely time compared to us.
Yeah, I know. It's been, talking to my dad, he's down there, and thankfully it seems to be the safest place. I'm like I said, I'm from Penzance, so it's literally like the last town in the country, pretty much. So just hopefully they don't get too flooded at Christmas because everybody decides that that's where it's safe. So,
claiming their Cornish heritage.
It sometimes pays to be on the end of the world.
And of course, as well, this year, I think I'm right in saying that you took part in the Stand By Me 2020 cover organised by Bob Harris. And what was the aim of this project?
Well, it's to raise funds for basically for the Help Musicians UK, which are a fantastic organisation that look after musicians that have struggled through the pandemic, and that they've been very limited concerts, no touring. So many musicians have just had their income completely stripped away. So Bob Harris is I'm very lucky to say a dear friend, and we've managed to work together many times over the last few years, and so whenever Bob calls, I pick up for sure. and he asked if I'd be a part of this great project, and all the proceeds that go to Help Musicians UK, and just go towards giving those great deserving players and singers and session players, a buffer and a bit more of an income, and while we get through this really tough time. But it's an absolute pleasure to be to sort of share the song with some incredible people. Everyone from Darius Rucker in the country world, Walt Thomas, the Shires, Mark Knopfler, Pete Frampton. It was like, I would gladly lend my services.
Absolute pleasure.
Thanks to Bob for that. I think it's done well. It's been out for a month or two, and that money's coming in, and so really pleased about that.
Oh, glad to hear it. I mean, because as well, when you think of musicians and everybody behind them, the crew, the amount of people are affected by it. Over in the UK here now, we're starting to see socially distanced concerts. I'm not sure if you've seen, or drive-in concerts and things like that. Have you got anything going on in Nashville like that?
Yeah, they definitely started to do it here as well, and actually, my girlfriend and I did play a socially distanced concert a month or so ago at a place called City Winery here in Nashville, and they just really impressed us with their attention to detail and the safety precautions, because there's still a lot of places here in the States that are just kind of doing it a bit shotgun style, and people, things are getting through the gaps, and protocols aren't being 100% seen to, and that obviously puts people at risk. So we did this socially distanced concert and table service, and outside it was they'd done a really great job of turning what is usually an awesome wine bar into a sort of wine garden. So we felt like, okay, there's everybody's outside, and it was a great night, and it was the first time I played in almost a year, and so it felt really good to get back on a stage, and I think the industry is going to be looking for more ways to make that the norm if this has to continue for a while. So smaller crowds, I do miss a big old rock show, that's for sure, but hopefully we'll get back there. We'll get back to the mosh pits one day soon.
Oh God, fingers crossed. Oh, it must have been so special though. I mean, you do really appreciate the smallest things now. As soon as we weren't allowed to meet people in the UK for 3 months, and the first day you could meet your friends was just so special. So it has been quite humbling, but quite tough.
Yeah, because you realise how much you took hugs for granted and things like that. I got to hug a friend of mine the other day because I've been tested on set. I was completely negative. He hadn't left his house for 3 months, and so it was hey buddy, give me a hug.
Get over here now, quick.
It lasted about 30 seconds because it was a special thing. So it's the small things that you miss, and then you really appreciate when they can come back. So I'm all for that.
And of course, just before COVID happened, you and the cast of Nashville took part in the Bluebird documentary. This documentary looks into Nashville's musical community, doesn't it? What was that like, taking part in that?
is, it was a huge part of our TV show, but, long before that, the Bluebird's been a great little music venue in Nashville that has hosted so many monumental industry moments. One being the discovery of Taylor Swift, which is pretty exciting.
Quite
and it's just a really, really special, very, very small little venue where it highlights the songwriters, really. So it highlights the hit makers and the musicians that come to tell the stories behind the songs. And, it's a listening room, really, and it's very special. And it's definitely got a bit of magic in the air, even though it's in what you call a strip mall here, which is, blink and you miss it, you drive it. It's not like some big Las Vegas, like, welcome to the Bluebird. It's like literally you pass it on one of the main streets here, like a little bit out of town. But it's something very special happens in that room. So, the documentary really showcases that. And I remember, we got to talk about what it meant to us on the film. And, I'm sharing the screen with the likes of Taylor and Garth Brooks and these just Maren Morris and these monumental songwriters. So it's really nice to be included in that because, the Bluebirds' history was sort of highlighted a lot in our TV show, and I think did put it even more so on the map. So, we just love everybody down there, and so thrilled to be a part of it.
Yeah, wow. And of course, it must have been quite special as well, given that Nashville had just pretty much finished filming to then do a documentary.
Absolutely, yeah. It's like I say, it's always been cool to have been on a TV show, but the show really having like a musical heart, and everybody on the cast is such strong musicians and singers in real life, and and that's what we're all working towards. I'm working on my first record right now, and so it's always, it feels good, to tap into those real musical moments and be featured like that. So we could have easily been sort of brushed under the carpet as like a bunch of actors who just want to sing a couple of songs, but for me it's been music came first, and it's been like my life up to this point, and it's great to be involved in those music projects.
Yeah. Do you think, because of course Nashville was quite early on in your career when you first started on the show, do you think Nashville and it's kind of like musical environment, do you think it influenced your musical style in any way?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when I moved out to Nashville in 2012, which seems like 1,000 years ago, I was playing music in London, and I was doing some singer-songwriter stuff and like playing the little bars and circuits and things, and working and developing my style and my sound, and of course moving to Music City, I was exposed to just some of the best songwriters in the world. So when I started co-writing here with a whole host of great people, definitely I think my songwriting improved. My style was influenced by the sounds in the city, particularly the Americana sound and that sort of indie Americana stuff. And there's a great radio station here, Lightning 100, who are play a lot of adult contemporary, just cool stuff that isn't necessarily like your country music radio hits, but everything from Cage and Musco to Lumineers to The Killers to all that kind of just cool stuff, indie stuff, and so my style, I guess when I first got here was very sort of Paul Simon, James Taylor, storyteller stuff, and I think having been exposed to everything here and played all over the world since then, and I got to open for one of my favourite bands, Biffy Clyro, a couple of years ago, and my style is a little eclectic. But this record I've been making definitely has elements of Americana, but is more kind of indie pop record, I guess. But tipping the hat to the journey I've been on.
Yeah, like a tapestry of it all, really.
Yeah, I guess so. It's tricky, being an actor and playing lots of different parts, and I'm fortunate that I can sort of. I'm able to sing in different styles, because it's almost like a necessity as an actor to disguise yourself and disappear into different roles, and I guess, you know, vocally that's also something I'm able to do, but so like having really found my voice this last year or so making this album is like, I'm really excited to share that and like finally like put it out and okay, this is me, this is what I found. So yeah, good times to come, hopefully.
Well, yeah, so that's like our last kind of question to you. Now that you have finished Nashville, you said you're working on a record. Do you think you're going to go more into acting, into singing, or do you think you're going to continue to kind of keep doing both?
Well, yeah, I've been lucky. Like, I do love both, and my career so far has, you know, a lot of acting roles that I've taken have had a musical element to them, but you know, like I said, I just started working on this new TV show in the States called Rebel that will be out next year, which is a great drama, but you know, absolutely no musical element at all. It's Andy Garcia and Katie Seagal and John Corbett, so a great cast. But that's fun to like put on like a purely acting hat there. But at the same time, you know, having worked on this record and it's in the mixing stage right now, come the middle of the year, you know, it'll be ready. So I think I'd be really excited to put that out and give music the way it deserves. Really, you know, I don't just want to end up being one of those like, oh, that like actor who was on that show that decided to like try and do some singing for a minute. You know, for me, it's really been. It's been my whole life, my childhood, and everything's sort of been leading up to this like first record, and you know, there's like an anxiety about it and there's an excitement because it's like, oh man, you know, here we go. I put out some Christmas songs through, you know, the movies I've been in and everything, but I think that's about all that's like lurking on Spotify. And so soon enough, you know, people will actually get to see a bit more of me. And you know, I was lucky to write. I wrote a lot of these songs in the UK last year because having spent so much time in Nashville, I actually really wanted the record to have like a British flavour to it and sound and sort of like go back to my roots in a sense. So you know, it's an exciting time these next 6 months or so to get a plan together and to put a single out, and then, you know, and once it's out, then we're off, then we're rolling. So
yeah,
here we go.
Oh my god, exciting times ahead for you then.
Thanks. Yeah.
Oh well, thank you so much for talking to us at Newcastle Student Radio today. It's been an absolute pleasure, and hopefully soon enough you'll be back in Cornwall.
Yeah. Well, it's always lovely to chat to folks in the UK, and you know, I miss it. Any chance I can get to, you know, to say hello to some Brits, it's always a pleasure. So thanks for supporting me, and you know, look forward to chatting again in the future, and you know, maybe we'll be spinning some of my original stuff soon, and you know, thanks for the support.
Oh, thank you, and have a lovely Christmas over in Nashville, and yeah, hopefully see you soon in the UK.
Ed.